Hi, my name is Mr. Pitsey and I'm in charge of GCSE Electronics at the Thomas Hardy School. I thought I would record a quick video just to highlight a few important things in GCSE Electronics that maybe will help you make a good choice. So GCSE Electronics is for electronics engineers. Please don't confuse it with being an electrician. Electronics engineers and electricians are two very different disciplines. Electronic engineers are mostly their work is associated with doing design work of electronics, for example, maybe say designing part of a smartphone or something like that, whereas an electrician would be more likely responsible with installing or testing an electrical system, say something like your household wiring or maybe something in business use. Now, electronics engineers are not only employed in purely electronic fields, they can also have some crossover into mechanical engineering, computer science as well, and even we, as electronics engineers, we also get involved in some software development too. So if you're considering, say, computer science because you like to do programming, well, electronics, GCSE Electronics also includes some programming. We are programming the hardware to do something. So any sort of science, technology, engineering or maths discipline might very well make use of some knowledge that you would acquire from doing GCSE Electronics. So the entire focus is on the understanding and design of electronic circuits. Okay, it's not necessarily such a practical GCSE. You're not going to be building stuff all the time. As a consequence, because we're doing design work, we have very, very close links to maths, physics and computer science. So don't be surprised if you encounter maths in every single lesson. Now, if you have a look at the exams, now notice it's 80% exams, 20% coursework. If you have a look at the exams, I've got a couple of exam papers up here, you'll notice that the second sheet on the exam paper gives you formulas. Okay, so you don't actually need to remember them, but you will need to be able to understand them and to rearrange those formulae as well. Okay, so really, really important you have strong math skills. If you don't have very strong math skills, you're going to find it's going to be a challenge. Okay, so if you enjoy maths and you enjoy science, then it's quite likely that you will enjoy electronics. Okay, so the sort of questions typically in most of the exam paper are quite short answer. They often involve calculations. They also involve, in many cases, algebra of some sort or another. They tend to be like, these ones tend to be like short answers, maybe writing an answer in here, filling out these boxes. Graphs feature quite strongly in pretty much every exam paper, and then we're presented with circuit diagrams, and then we have to do calculations and things like that. Okay, so once again, more calculations. Once again, here we have to understand about the operation of the components. So don't worry about if you don't know anything about any of this, that everything is thoroughly taught in the course. Okay, I'll show you some of the resources in a moment. Once again, more and more calculations. So you can see that pretty much every single question is going to involve some calculations. This question actually involves algebra to solve it. Even though it looks like it's got 20 pictures, it involves algebra. Don't mean to put people off. I mean, most of you who are interested in GCSE Electronics already feel fairly confident in your maths, so it shouldn't be a problem. The algebra isn't really, really difficult, so don't get me wrong, but it will feature. Okay, so it is very technical. We do use maths, I said that many times, and we use maths in pretty much every lesson. We also use computer-aided design software, so the sort of programs that we use to draw these circuit diagrams, we use those programs, computer-aided design, to design the circuit layout, and then actually also to simulate the circuits, and that's prior to actually building them. Occasionally, not all the time, but occasionally we do build the circuits. Now, everything that we do, and we're going to also, at some stage, we will do a project. Now, if you want to have a look a bit more at the structure, you can go onto the EDUCAT's website, and you can have a look at, let me just see if I can find it here, the specification. You'll find that there is 20% coursework. And the coursework is very, very much about electronics. In fact, it's 100% electronics, okay? So there's nothing in it about, say, the impact on the environment or your particular client needs and wants, or ergonomics or anything like that that you might associate with some other design and technology courses. This is wholly and absolutely technical in its nature. Okay. Which is great for some people and less so for others. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Now, I would like to give you a good indication of what other students have got in the exam. It's a little bit difficult to do so because last year, of course, we had teacher assessed grades. And then prior to that, we didn't actually have any GCSE students doing the course, although we've been running the A-level for several years now. And the most recent cohort of students who actually sat a proper exam, they were in the top 1% of the results in England, actually. So they did really well there, and they were very hardworking. So if you're a hardworking student, if you like things that are technical, if you enjoy maths, physics, and computer science, and you think that even you might possibly be interested in continuing at A-level, you don't have to, but then GCSE Electronics is really, really good for you. Okay. Now, one last thing which I'd like to just quickly show you, and that is the resources for GCSE Electronics are very, very comprehensive. They're all produced by Educas. You don't need to buy a book, but each of the topics that we cover is published as a booklet. Okay, so let's just take one as an example. Okay, so they always give you the outcomes, things that you're going to be able to learn about. Okay, and notice that once again it's going to be fairly maths based. They tell you a little bit about the actual components, the action of the circuits. So there's a little bit of theory to start off with, and then it builds up to then actually checking that you understand so far, and then there's going to be some circuit design somewhere. There's as I've mentioned before, graphs feature quite strongly, and then hopefully by this point you'll actually understand about how the circuit works. You'll be able to do the calculations. Here are example calculations, and then as you go through the course, I'm not going to be able to show you everything here, obviously, but here then you'll actually do the exercises and check your understanding. So there's an awful lot in there. Obviously that's quite a big booklet, but all of the booklets are available. So if you're interested to have a look at the sort of content that you might encounter in this course, then do have a look. You can search for Educas GCSE Electronics ebook. Hopefully that will bring you to this page. If you're unable to find it, you can always drop me an email. And these are basically, this is the complete course, okay, in these two lots of booklets. Component 1 has an exam, component 2 has an exam, and that relates to these. Let's just go up to the top. Component 1 exam, and then the other one is component 2. Okay, so it's very, very clearly laid out, I think, as to what the course contains. And as I say, you can have a look through these, give yourself a really, really clear idea. I think it's a great course. We've had good outcomes. Students who are interested in maths and science generally quite enjoy it. Okay, so thanks very much, and I hope you make a good choice. Goodbye.